Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Trending Interactive Studios. It's been a while since I've done a video, but here we are. We're back and we're in action. Today, we're going to be talking about The Walking Dead top 5 favorite characters. Today is the day The Walking Dead returns, so I figured it's a good time to bring out some videos regarding The Walking Dead. Now, I'm pumped to see 7B, which is the second half of Season 7, and I'll do a video just about that more than likely here this afternoon. But we're going to get right into this. I am doing this video as a response to May Money's top 5. I told her I really didn't agree with her list that much, and that I would give her one of mine, and she said she would like to see it. So here we are, folks, with my top 5 characters of The Walking Dead. So I'm going to see you look over this direction here and there, and it's because I'm going to be looking at some of my notes that I have up on the screen. I don't really have notes, I just have names. I feel I know the show enough where I don't need notes. We'll see if that's true or not. So anyhow, let's get right to it. My top 5 favorite. Now this is my favorite characters. I will also be doing a video, my top 5 least favorite characters. And even on my least favorite characters, I may be saying that I don't hate them or that I enjoyed their character, but they were a bad guy, or I will get into it when I get into that video. So these are my top 5 favorite characters right now in the show. And it encompasses all the seasons. So when I say right now, I just mean like as of this moment, if I think of the entire show, this is my top 5 right here. So my friends, my homies, my ladies, my guys, let's go ahead and let's check this out right now. At number 5, we have Herschel and Dale, a little slash. They are quite similar in characters, yet different as well. But I enjoyed Herschel, and I also enjoyed Dale. And enjoying Herschel for me is kind of funny because people that know me know that I am not a religious person. Oh yeah, check out my shirt. Trending Interactive Studios, folks. I am pimping out Trending Interactive Studios gear. So, yes, it looks pretty sexy. All right. So, anyhow, Herschel and Dale. Like I said, they're very similar, but yet they're very different. And it's shocking that I liked Herschel because he is a very religious man, and I am not. I'm not into religion, and a lot of times I find it very hokey, very corny, and cheesy, and over the top. But Herschel was done just right, I felt. And I just enjoyed the way that he was a father figure towards everybody, that he tended to be the moral compass of the group in Season 3 and Season 4 until he met his demise. And we saw that little smile at Rick. And I took that smile at Rick like, no matter what happens, I trust you with my kids. I trust you with the family that we all share together now. I believe in you. Don't let what's about ready to happen to me bring you down. You've come so far. So that's kind of what I got out of that smile from Herschel there in episode 8 of Season 4. Now Dale was very much the same. He was the moral compass of the group for Seasons 1 and 2. He is the one that caught Shane pulling the gun on Rick in Season 1. He just seemed to have a really good sense of how things work. And I also think that with Randall, he was never saying Randall was innocent. And I think that's something that a lot of people don't understand. He wasn't ever saying Randall was innocent. He was just saying, who are we to play judge, jury, and executioner, name of the episode, for Randall? Who are we to do that? If that's what we have become, all semblance of society is gone. So I totally get where he was coming from there, and I actually was one of the few people that I agreed with him. I didn't think it would be right just to execute him. That's just me, but I also don't believe in the death penalty, so maybe I'm biased. That's, again, just my opinion on it. But Dale and Herschel, they were moral fibers of the group that tried to keep some sense of normalcy and at least some sense of dignity and respect from the world before the zombie apocalypse happened, or the Walker apocalypse, shall we say. And I just enjoyed the characters very much. They both reminded me a little bit of my grandfather, and in a sense my own dad, and other men in my life, such as Bob Neff, and people that have been important to me in my life, which I've had a lot of guys in my life that have helped shape me into being a better person than I think I would have been without them in my life. So I think those two meant a lot to this group, and I think if they had never been in this group, Rick's group may not have made it as far as they already have. So I am very thankful to get to know Dale. I love the shout out we got from Glenn to Dale there in season 5 when they were on their way to Alexandria. That was really cool when the RV stopped, and Abe was like, "How did you know about that extra battery?" And we all knew that was Dale. So that was really cool. All right, so we're going to move right on now, and at number 4 on my list is a lot of people's number 1, Daryl. Now, I love Daryl. Daryl is a loner, but not. And what I mean by that, if you think of at the end of season 3, in the finale, when Andrea was dying, and she said, basically, it was hard to be alone. Basically, was what her meaning was it's hard to be alone. And Daryl pointed out that it never is, basically, which shows that as much as he's a loner, he's also not. He depends on these people. He depends on their trust. He depends on their love. He depends on their respect. He loves being depended upon, period. Daryl loves being an important member of the group. He wants to feel needed. And I think that comes from always trying to have his brother's approval, and more likely his father's approval. We'll never know that, but that's just my guess. Out for his father's approval, and definitely out for Merle's approval, and he never really got it, even up until Merle's death. So I definitely think Daryl, he named Judith Little Ass Kicker. That's pretty hilarious and cool on itself, and it just shows you how adorable Daryl can be. Daryl, at so many moments, like in the episode of Cherokee Rose, when he gives the Cherokee Rose to Carol, when Beth dies, when Beth gets taken, his reactions. He's got a very big heart, and he loves very hard. He doesn't let you in easily, but once you're in with Daryl, you're always in. You have to see that in season 7, where without the group back in Alexandria and in Hilltop, I think Daryl would have said, "I am Negan." But because he has family, people that he views as real family, which is something he never really had, he takes, he's like, "No, I'm Daryl. I'll never be Negan. I'll never be one of you, because of the fact that I have a family. You can't, no matter what you do, you can't take that away from me. You can kill me first, but you will not take my family. I'm with them." And that's the loyalty of Daryl. And I can also say that I do remember watching a reaction video, and I'm not going to call the guy out, but watching a reaction video of, and now I just totally brain farted, so I'm not even trying to say this story, guys. Sorry. I got so many thoughts in my head jumbled out. I'm going to move right past that. But the point is, Daryl is a loyal, true member of this group, and he will never do anything to go against them. And that's what it was. Sorry, the story just came back to me. So in the episode in season 4 where Daryl is running with Rob, the guy that Rick bites his throat. When he's running with him, this person doing the reaction was wondering at the end what Daryl would do. He didn't think Daryl would necessarily turn on Rick and the group, but he thought Rick was loyal to that guy. And when I watched it the first time, what I got was this was a group by convenience for Daryl until he found the group. I think he knew from the entire time that that was his plan, especially when he found the rapper, and that was, okay, they're close. Michonne, who he knows goes and gets the candy, brings back the stale M&Ms and such. He knew that. So he was like, I just got to bide my time. I'm going to find my family, and that'll be that. So, love Daryl. Now we're going to move right on to Rick. Or sorry, not Rick. Number 3. Michonne. Oh, Michonne is such a badass. And she's got a huge heart. And I love that she stands up to Rick. And she almost does it immediately. Some people think that it evolved, but she's really stood up to Rick when she's believed in something from the get-go. That's never really changed. Michonne has always been a strong woman, which I love. But she's also been a woman with a very tender heart. She still needs to feel love. She still needs family. She still, like everybody else, has a history and a past that's heartbreaking, losing her son and her boyfriend and everything else. But her trademark katana is simply badass. We all know that. But there's so much more to her than the samurai sword. She has became a very strong leader of the group. I think she's just underneath Rick as far as that goes, and it has nothing to do with being with Rick. If you remember, when they were deciding whether to follow Aaron back to Alexandria or not, she's the one that just told, no, Rick, we're doing it. Don't care what you say. We're going. And then we heard Daryl, little quip of, this barn smells like shit. So, but it was really cool to see Michonne take charge and say, hey, we can be out here too long. Meaning we could be exposed to the elements physically and mentally and emotionally too long, and it can take a toll, and we can become people we're not okay with being. We could become Gareth. We could become the governor. We could become all these people that we've ran into. We can't say Negan yet because they haven't ran into Negan yet. But they could become all these terrible people that they've ran into. They could become Dawn. They could become Shane. And some people say Rick has become Shane, but I'll get into that when I'm talking about Rick. So, anyhow, the big thing is with Michonne is that she has become a very integral part of the story. And I am liking that in the TV show, she's getting more of Andrea's role, which is unfortunate for Andrea because she never got to play really what Andrea was in the comic. You see behind me, there's the comics. But, and that sucks because I watched the first 7.5 seasons before I read the comics. So I come in, with the TV show first. So you would think, I'd be like, I like the TV show Andrea better. No, I actually like Andrea, the comic book character, better. She was a much stronger character. But Michonne is very badass. She's very badass in every aspect of her life. But she does have weaknesses. And the good thing is she does a good job covering them up. And she doesn't mind letting other people help with those weaknesses, which is what her problem was in season 3 at the start. Well, she didn't want to show her weakness side. She didn't want to show what she had been through. It was all a secret. Keep it to herself. And she's learned that she's coming into her own the more she started to open up, thanks to Carl and Rick, but mainly I would say Carl. As much as people want to hate Carl, Carl helped Michonne become the lady she is now, the mentally strong woman she is now, as she already was the physically strong woman. So now we're going to get into number 2. We're going to get into Rick. I am a diehard Rick Grimes fan. Love me some Rick. Honestly, I've loved every Rick. There's been so many different Ricks, and I've loved every single one of them. But, you know, the idea that I've heard from some people is Rick, from a lot of people, Rick is who Shane was. Rick now, or in season 5, is who Shane was. This couldn't be more false. Here's the difference, and it's huge, folks. Shane cared about 2 people. Lori, Carl. That's it. If the rest of the group, if it meant the rest of the group died, everybody died. Everybody. But Carl and Lori, Shane would have been okay with that. And he wouldn't have even thought of a possible another alternative. Like with the Otis situation. He didn't have a lot of time, but his immediate decision was to kill Otis. Immediate choice was to kill Otis. Now, I think Rick in that situation might have sacrificed himself. I don't think, especially at that point, I don't know if Rick could have killed a person he considered a friend and was risking his life for his son. I don't think Rick could have just killed Otis. I just don't think so. But then let's move back on to season 5. Season 5 Rick and on is all about all the family members. It's not just about Carl. No, it's a lot about Carl, but it's not just about Carl. You hear him tell, he tells Daryl, "You're my brother" in season 4. You're my brother. Not kind of, you are my brother. Now, look with Glenn. When Glenn was killed, and at the end of the episode, he tells Maggie, he's our family too. Rick would have died for Glenn. Rick would have died for all those people. Rick would have died for every one of those people at the end of season 7 if it meant they all lived. He wouldn't have heartbeat. Not just Carl. He would have died for every one of them, including Sasha. All of them. Because they're family to Rick. Shane didn't give a rat's ass about the group. The only person he cared about was Shane, Lori, and Carl. So the comparisons of Rick and Shane are asinine. Yes, Rick has learned the idea that you can't just blindly trust. Like Shane, was like, we're not trusting anybody. DTA, don't trust anybody. Well, I get that attitude to a certain extent. I really do, especially in that kind of a world. And Rick learned that. He saw punch Aaron. He learned that. That was something he did get somewhat from Shane, but also just from experiences. He realized we can't just walk around trusting everybody. You got to earn it. So, and if I got to kill you, I'll kill you. I have no problem doing it. These are my family members, all of them. They're not dying. They're not going anywhere. So, Rick is a much stronger man, emotionally, mentally, and physically. It's probably even, or maybe a little bit Shane, physically. But mentally and emotionally, and it's why Rick is alive and Shane is dead. Because Rick is mentally and emotionally smarter than Shane. That's just the facts, folks. Just reality. All right. Now we're almost at 20 minutes. This was much longer than I wanted this to be. So we are going to get right on now, guys. We're going to talk on my number 1 favorite. And I'm, drum roll please, Glenn. Glenn is my favorite character of all time. That hasn't changed. I love me some Glenn. He is very respectful, kind, caring, courteous, but he's also a badass when he needs to be. He's a little rogue when he needs to, he can sneak into any situation, get himself out. People can hate on the dumpster thing, guys. It's a TV show. Stop trying to analyze that crap. We're in a TV show. If you went and analyzed every movie from the 80s and 90s, you'd be like, that's not possible. Not possible. It's a TV show, folks. Stop trying to make it it's not a reality show, okay? It's a TV show based off a comic. Stop trying to make it, to analyze every little thing. You're going to ruin it for yourself. You are like saying the show ruined it with the dumpster thing. Oh, they ruined it because it wasn't even logical or reasonable. You ruined it. You are the one that has to get into the show and take away the realism and just experience and enjoy the experience. That's what a fictional TV show movie is about. You let go of reality and you let yourself get sucked in. I like professional wrestling, guys. But here's the thing. I know it's staged. It's fictional. It's storyline driven. But if I sat there and watched the show going, it's fake, it's fake, it's fake, and didn't let the stories, the rivalries, and the promos, and the stories the matches told, if I didn't let those, if I didn't let those seep into me, and I sat there and I just questioned everything, it would never be enjoyable. We go, well, that's wrestling. No, that's movies. You watch any movie. If you watch Guardians of the Galaxies, or Guardian of the Galaxy, if you watch that and you're like, well, the raccoon really couldn't talk, okay, you're not going to enjoy the freaking movie. You guys got to lighten up. It's TV shows and movies that are based on fiction, you have to let some stuff go and realize you're watching a TV show and a movie and immerse yourself in the situation. Sorry about that little side rant. Back to Glenn. Love his relationship with Maggie. I do know a couple of people that I've watched reaction videos. They're not a fan of them. I disagree. I'm a big fan. It may be a little bit over the top, but again, we're a TV show, folks, people. We'll be a little bit over the top. And Glenn found the person that he was meant to be with, and it's worked out up until the end, and we got to see the awesome line from Maggie that if you haven't seen it, I won't spoil. But the show really showed the best in a human being in Glenn. Herschel, Maggie, Rick, and Daryl, and Dale all helped shape Glenn into who he was in season 6. And that was a very well-rounded badass. He could fight. I mean, we saw what he did when that little turncoat tried to, kill Noah and then tried to kill him. We saw what he did to Austin in front of everybody. And his mom thanked him for it. So, Glenn is the epitome of what I would hope to be in that kind of world, where I could defend myself, I can kill walkers, I'll do whatever it needs to be done to survive and to live. But my family's my family. My family's my family, and I'm not going against my character. I'm not going to go against who I am, what I believe in. I will stand up for what's right, and I'll fight to my last breath for the people that I care about. That's what I got from Glenn, and I love Glenn for it. So, guys, that's my top 5. You heard it. Herschel and Dale at number 5. 4 is Daryl. 3, Michonne. 2 is Rick. Number 1, the iconic Glenn. Man, Glenn Rhee, we miss you. Stephen Young, hats off to your performance. I won't do it because of my hair, but hats off, Imaginary, to you for the job you did playing Glenn Rhee. You're appreciated, and I hope at some point we see you back on the show. I understand you're dead, but maybe a dream sequence or something. So hopefully we get to see you at least one more time on The Walking Dead. If not, hopefully I still see you at maybe a WalkerCon or something, or Comic-Con, which I do hope to get to I've never been to one yet, but I hope to get to one soon. And guys, stay tuned. I have more videos coming. Stay tuned next for the top least 5 favorite characters. I am Ben. We're at 25 minutes, so I'm getting out of here. Thanks for watching Trending Interactive Studios. Remember, as always, to like, share, and subscribe, and comment down below. Peace.